Could look at that shininess all day. But today I'm going to try and work on my catch can. Because even though it's a Mishimoto, and it's made of carbon fiber, it still doesn't do a very good job. What I mean by that is it's not catching all of the blow-by that it should. I know this because one day I was driving, open highway, late at night, why not, mad at, have some fun, get the G's going. And I looked behind me because there was a car sort of there, so I want to keep an eye on him just to make sure he didn't freak out or do anything stupid. But I was looking in my rear view and I noticed a big puff of smoke fly out when I mad at it. So that's not good. And that must be pushing oil into the intake. So this thing is not doing its job. Upon further review, I looked into these catch cans a little bit more and found that they're actually kind of shit, despite being made by Mishimoto. And I figured they were pretty good, so I just went with this one. I mean, I got it for free from Rudnick, basically, so good from Rudnick, but I still thanks, because, free's always good. But instead of buying one, the old one I had on here, the little blue one, it worked, but it was kind of crappy and made out of plastic and it leaked, so I had decided to get rid of it. It was like leaking all over here. It was kind of gross, so I went with this one instead. So this one's a sealed can, though. It doesn't like come apart. A lot of the the eBay ones just have little hex screws all around. You can take it apart. This one doesn't. So that's not really going to stop me, and I'm going to see if I can crack it open anyway and get it out. But before I even do any of that, I'm going to go to Home Depot and buy some materials that I think I'm going to need to make this actually work. So to give you an idea of what I'm planning on doing, take a length of this copper tubing, cut it and bend it so it'll fit with the fitting in there. It'll stick out of the back of the fitting. Go down to the bottom of the can. The reason this is, like I explained before, so it won't get sucked back out and into the intake, the blow-by. So basically it's going to go onto this one because this is where the air actually goes in, air and oil. Air and oil goes in, goes down, and I also had to go to Target to get, because Home Depot didn't have any, scratch brake. These little stainless steel scrubbing pads. Can't use steel wool because that'll melt, it'll rust, but this won't. So I'm going to use that, shove it in there. That's going to baffle it a little bit more so it won't splash the oil. And again, won't get sucked out. That's the goal, is to keep the oil in the can and not get sucked back out. So that's what we're going to try and do. I don't really feel like getting the whole drill press out and set up, so I'm just going to put this in the vise and use my drill. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this is only aluminum, so it's not going to be a big-ass pain. So I got the top separated, but I didn't know that this little arm was threaded into it through the carbon fiber. So this catch can is no longer useful. But the top and bottom pieces look like they are. And I had an idea. I'm gonna do it because they are the same width. I'm just gonna have to cut the top. I'm gonna do it. I might have to make this part, see if I can get another little clear hose and make it extend. But this is down for a longer term project now because that thing's gonna sit there for a while anyway. So I'm down for this. This is gonna be fun. Custom catch can. It's gonna keep the Mishimoto name on it. Well. So if you're wondering, there's no reason to buy this off their website because it's just even if you're NA, you should just buy this if you just want something that says Mishimoto and carbon fiber in your engine bay. But like I said, I didn't pay any money for this, so not really upset. Just leads on to more ideas. So I'm going to do that. Alright, so I got the old catch can apart, and it's only these three pieces, the bottom, top, and then the what they call carbon fiber. I have doubts, but yeah, it's split down the middle. It wouldn't have broke if I had known that the little level thing was actually threaded into the top and bottom. So if I just taken this off first before prying the top off, it wouldn't have broke, but didn't know, but oh well. This is going to be more fun to make anyway, so. I'm actually going to reuse every piece except this, because I broke this when I got the top off. This twisted and snapped against something, so can't reuse that. But I'm just going to make a new level out of just polyurethane tubing and these little compression fittings that are 90s. So I wanted to get like a piece of PVC to fit inside here, so this, because it's still this aluminum cam, it'll crunch, and then it'll be like, it would still hold oil and work, but it'd look crappy, and we're trying to get the novelty here, which is really the only point of using the Arizona can. So what I'm actually going to do, I mean, I don't know, I guess this is okay to do, I don't see why not. I'm going to just let this, because it still has like a twist kind of thing into it. Yeah. I'm also going to cut the bottom of the can out and use this, the bottom part of the old catch can, because it has the drain and the bottom part for the level. So I could just drill a hole in the bottom of the can, and exactly the same for the plug. I'm almost talking myself into doing it, but just for the sake of using the old parts to keep it nice and threaded already, just because I already have the stuff. And I already bought the fitting and everything, so I'm going to reuse the bottom. But if you wanted to do this DIY, you could just drill a hole in the bottom and make your own level out of whatever. And then you don't even really need a drain if you could just take it out, take the fittings off, and just dump it that way. Wouldn't be clean, but I mean, what's it matter really? It's all options. You can customize this as much as you want. But I'm just going to take the bottom and I'm going to cut the bottom of this out right now. Holy shit! Alright, so it's looking more like a catch can sort of right now. All I did was punch a hole in the side with a screwdriver where it was lined up with this. Then I took a drill and just kind of rounded it out a little bit until it fit the fitting in there. It's an NTP fitting anyway, so it's only going to get so tight. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom pretty much, and then it's going to be done. Well, not really. The body of it's done. I still got to do like the whole baffling thing. But alright, I don't know how well you can hear me over the heater, so I'll try and talk loud. But I basically got the body pretty much built. Again, I did the same step on the bottom, just poked a hole, drilled it out so it fit this fitting in here. And obviously I'll cut this shorter because I have to thread these into the can first before I can put the compression fitting on. Because obviously if I attach this to the compression fitting, I can't spin it. I would only be able to spin one, like the top. So they're all just in there kind of not real tight, but I've kind of forgot these are also pipe threads, so they kind of expand a little bit out, so they're only going to get so tight. I also decided to go with thread sealer instead of Teflon, because it already fits pretty tight, like it's just throwing it in, so just any little bit of sealant I can get will probably do the job. The bottom one's obviously going to be the only one I really have to worry about, because I don't ever plan to let this get entirely full of the top. So now that I have the can base built, I can mess with the baffling system I'm going to have to just create. And this is where the copper tube and the stainless steel pads come in. Alright, so with the copper tube, I'm going to cut it obviously to length, but it's going to sit inside here, basically underneath. I'm going to have to bend this a little bit, try my hardest not to kink it. It's going to have a 45-degree bend in there at the least to clear to go down into the can from here. once it's threaded in. This is the fitting that I took out is the one that's actually going to be the in, so this is the one it's going to be attached to. So the first thing I have to do is drill out the bottom of this to fit just accept this, which shouldn't be that big of a difference. This is 3/8, and this, I don't know, but I'm going to just drill it out till it fits. Done fucked it up. Fuck it, JB weld. Alright, so JB dried on this. It's nice and solid. Creates a good seal, so that's good. Even though I tried my hardest, because I didn't use a drill press, still didn't drill straight, but that's why I nicked the edge of the nipple part. But whatever, it's fine. Now, since I made this accept the rod, is the time I get to attempt to bend this so it'll fit like that and work. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty much straight to how it's going to sit on the can. Probably bend it a little bit more, but I just got to cut it to length so it'll actually fit in the can. Alright, got my tube made up, drilled some holes in the bottom, just so it'll vent even better. So that's the idea anyway. So, there's the idea. Tube goes in. But what this stuff is going to do is scotch plates. And basically, so the ball is just going to go around, sit around the tube. Like so, just like that. And now, when you hit boost, oil won't splash back out into your intake. So here's a better idea I just thought of that involves drilling holes in nothing. Nothing metal or important anyway. So this is my PCM, Powertrain Control Module. So it tells the transmission to do what's what and stuff like that. Engine, spark, basically everything. Spark plugs and everything are these two big plugs. Spark, fuel injectors, all that shit. Basically the computer. So it has holes in it because this thing with fins is just the heatsink, and so is the entire body molded around it. And if I took it off, you look at the back, you could see the actual PCM part. But this is just the heatsink, so it's fine. So there are already holes in the heatsink for whatever mounting other purposes GM thought of for other car applications to put the same PCM in. So all I did was stuff a piece of threaded rod, put a nut on the back and the front, and made myself a stud. And the bracket for the catch can will just fit right up. Oh, so really? No, okay, good. That would have been stupid if I got a rod that was bigger than the catch can. But yeah, so I got that. I could tilt the rod a little bit, bend it, like in the middle there, so it'll have the catch can level, like that. And that helps me avoid drilling holes in anything, really. I think what I might do, since, see how the PCM is not like clicked in all the way, and there's terrible lighting here, shit. Well, the same deal, the PCM is just held into this plastic thing by these little, like you just push it off. So there's the same thing on the bottom. The bottom one's clipped all the way in, but since the nut's on the back, hitting the back of this plastic thing, this side's not going all the way in. So I might take the Dremel and just cut like the back of it a little bit so the nut sticks through the back. And then it should at least clip the rest of the way. And that'll be that. Alright, here's where I ended up. So I went with through the PCM heat shrink thing for a little stud, threaded rod, stick out. Then just nut and bolt with a lock washer on both sides of the bracket for the catch can. And like I said, I'm going to have to drill and tap new holes in the top of the catch can to get it to do that. But I was going to bend it so it kind of like sits up straight in the engine bay, but it's not going to make a huge difference. So that'll work actually. It actually has better clearance at this angle than if I were to bend it the threaded rod so this was straight. So I'm gonna leave it like that. It'll be alright. It's just the oil's gonna sit in it like level sideways, but that's alright. Yeah, it'll be alright. The level won't be 100% accurate, but yeah, I kind of like it better like that, so that's alright. If not, I think I'd have to like shorten it a little bit, but it'll work. It'll work. Yeah, she doesn't hit anything like that, so that's how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna have to just mark the holes with the bracket as a template and go from there. Alright, since I got my mounting points planned out, all I have to do is rethread the screws that came with it, the 2 Allen screws that were here, because I don't have the same tap as the existing holes. So I'm just gonna tap a smaller thread onto it and drill 2 new holes and tap it to the size I actually have. Alright, so I finished up making all the screws and tapping all the holes and whatnot and shit that I needed to do to get the mount up. So new holes are threaded and tapped. Also, I took the one that's going to be the out and glued a piece of just stainless steel screen on the back so it won't suck any physical objects out into the intake. So that's drying, that's fine. So now that I got all my mounting things situated and I know how that's going to work, it's time to start gluing this thing together, because that's really all it's going to hold it together, unfortunately. So it's going to be difficult if I need to take it apart again, but what can we do? So basically, just got to take the can apart, leave the sleeve in here, and just glue everything. I'm going to silicone everything, thread seal the fittings in there so they won't leak. Yeah. And there she is. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm gonna obviously wait till the glue and everything dries before I try to run any kind of pressure through it. But I'll put it in the car and see if I have enough hose to make it work. Damn it, phone. So, alright, good, he answered. So I'll put it in the car, see if I need to go make an all parts store run. So I gotta remember when this thing dries to scrape all the extra glue and shit off the edges. But for now, just put it in and make sure it fits and get all the hoses lined up, it'll be alright. So this guy's mounted all tight, it's gonna move around a little bit, but not terrible. It's in there pretty good. It's probably just a little bit of thread rod, nut and bolts, that's all you need. A couple washers, lock washers, that won't come out due to vibration. And it should be good. So I got my 2 screws, custom threads and custom cut lengths and everything nice. I skipped all me making the screws and rethreading stuff just because it was kind of boring and frustrating. But that'll work. Yeah, I don't have to take that up. That's why I had this one down. That's like this one. I'll pick one for you. See how I put on there so I can make sure I'm not There we go. Load it up. Doesn't budge whatsoever. I just need to see if my nose will fit reach. So I got my two hoses here now. I got my other one from the other side of that crankcase that I just ran. And this one goes to the intake. I'll just decide a nice length. I like this, cut it. Probably about right there. Right there. I'm not supposed to get that faulty hose belts. I think I'm going to just like that. I'll put it over here. There. There we go. Custom Arizona catch can. Took about a week longer, not really a week, a couple days longer than I expected it to. I'm not going to start up right now because I really want all the glue to get like a whole day to seal before I try and run pressure through it. I don't really want to break it already. But there we go. Probably costs about, I don't know, I've made like 3 trips to Home Depot. It's not very expensive and I already had all the parts, but that was besides the point. The fact was the novelty of having an Arizona can and doing something functional in your engine bay. And if this doesn't leak after I see it in a couple of days, but I'm going to end the video here. Test it out, I'll give you a follow-up on this thing, but there you go. That's how to make your own catch can, baffled and all. See ya.